Now let's talk about the imperfect forms here. All right. What we have whenever we form the cal imperfect of hollow verbs is we only have two consonants. We only have two consonants, and in a typical regular verb, we would have three consonants, and the nutty prefix would close a syllable with root 1 and leave roots 2 and 3 to form their own syllable. Because I only have two consonants instead of three, these two consonants are going to close their syllable together. That's going to leave the imperfect prefix without a root letter to close the syllable with, and so it's going to be open, and if it's open, it's going to be a long vowel. So that's what you're going to expect to see here. Long vowel and an open syllable here. The tone will be here, so this open syllable will be open and pretonic, and it's going to take a long vowel. And the long vowel we're going to see throughout, for the most part, is a kametz. So he will arise is yakum, yakum. She will arise, takum. Notice I'm just switching out the tav for the yod to make it third feminine singular. Takumi, takumi. Notice that I'm continuing to try to stress the vowel that goes with root 1. Takumi, not takumi, but takumi. You, woman, will arise. Akum, I will arise. Yakumu, they will arise. And then over here for the 3FP and 2FP, we have tukumena. I want you to notice here what's happened. There's a couple of interesting things here. Notice that the kametz went to a vocal shava here. Why is that? The reason is that my stress has moved from root 1. The kof is root 1. We've been stressing the kof throughout, but now the stress is on the meme, and so that's tonic. This is pretonic. This becomes open and proprotonic. And as you know, Hebrew reduces open proprotonic syllables. If the vowel is changeable, reduces those to a vocal shava. What else has happened? Well, I'm adding the consonantal ending na. This is the only place I have consonantal endings in my imperfect conjugation pattern. But I've got a mem here, and I want to get from the mem to the consonantal ending, and these verbs are going to insert a helping vowel here, okay? This is a helping vowel, segel yod here. We saw helping vowels in other weak verbs. And so the hollow verb is going to employ a helping vowel here. And this helping vowel is going to take the stress. So takumena becomes tukumena. And so this is they or y'all, feminine plural, will arise. Okay? Now, let's look at bo. Here, it's not yavu, but yavo. The bo wants that holem vav here. And so this is he will enter, yavo. So we either have shurik or a holem vav here. Yavo, he will enter. Tavo, she will enter. Tavoi, remember we're going to continue trying to stress the root 1. Tavoi, you woman will enter. Avo, I will enter. Yavou, they will enter. And then, notice I have tuvoena. Tuvoena. The long A, being changeable, now open and proprotonic, reduces the vocal shava, and I get a helping vowel. So that's one way to see this form. For they or you, feminine plural, will enter. I could also see tavona. Tavona. I noticed that I have chets here. These should be hays, not chet. Tavona. And this is one where the helping vowel is not used. And I just go straight to the na, the aleph quieses. And that means that my stress, because there's no helping vowel introducing a new syllable, the stress stays on the bet, and then I don't have to reduce that to a vocal shava. All right, so you will see either of those in the Hebrew Bible. For sim, it's yasim. Yasim. So here's the good news. In the Cal Perfect, you don't know whether the verb's middle vav or middle yod. But when you get to the Cal Imperfect, if you see a shurik or a holam vav for your theme vowel, you know it's middle vav. And if you get to the imperfect and you see a kirik yod in the middle in the kal, then it's a middle yod verb. All right? So yasim, he will put. Tasim, she will put. Tasimi, you woman will put. Asim, I will put. Yasimu, they will put. And then tusimena. Tusimena. Notice my accent shifts over here with that helping vowel. And that leaves this open in proper tonic. So the long A reduces to a vocal shava. All right. So for mut, what happens? It becomes yamut. Because it's a middle vav verb, we're going to see a shurik or a holam vav. And here we get the shurik. Yamut, he will die. Tamut, she will die. Tamuthi, you woman will die. Amut, I will die. Yamuthu, they will die. And tumuthena. Tumuthena. And again, my chet here is really supposed to be a hey. So I apologize for that. Tumuthena. I'll make that correction here in your handout. And then finally, bosh. Bosh is a little bit different in that my imperfect prefix doesn't get the kamets here under the yod and the tavs and all the other nutty prefixes, but a sere. But I do have, because it's middle vav, a mater vav here. So yevosh, yevosh, he will be ashamed. Tevosh, she will be ashamed. Tevoshi, you woman will be ashamed. Evosh, I will be ashamed. And yevoshu, they will be ashamed. I didn't put a 3FP, 2FP form here because it's unattested in the Hebrew Bible. I would have just had to make one up, but we'll just skip that since you won't see it. Now, for the kal imperative, how do we form the imperatives? What did we learn back when we learned the imperatives? We learned that you take the kal imperfect second person forms and you chop off the head. Remember, Hebrew is in fact a violent language. A lot of head chopping here. You chop off the prefix and you're left with the imperative. So if the imperfect is takum for the 3FS and the 2MS, you drop the prefix and you're left with kum. You've got the imperative, 2MS. So this is not very hard. So we have yakum becomes kum, yavo becomes bo. Remember, you're going to have to make sure your dageshleni is here. Yasim and tasim becomes sim. Yamut and tamut become mut when we chop off the head, and yevosh and tevosh become bosh. So very easy. Arise, enter, put, die, and be ashamed. Okay. We'll always chop off the head, but the second person imperfect forms are going to be used for the second person imperative forms. So 2FS, it's going to be kirik yod. 2MP is shurik, right? So kum becomes kumi for a woman. You woman, arise. To a group of men, kumu. Bo becomes boi and bou when I'm speaking to a woman or to a group of people. Sim becomes simi or simu, depending on whether I'm speaking to a woman or a group of men or a mixed group. Mut, muthi, muthu, and bosh becomes boshi and boshu. Now let's take a look down here a little bit below the chart. I've got some comments here about these forms that we've just been looking at. I've already told you about how in the kal imperfect we get reduction of the long A on yasim, he will set, for example. If I'm going to add syllables here and push the stress over to a new syllable, then this is going to be open and propertonic, and that's going to have to reduce to a vocal shava. Okay, so when will I see situations like that? When I get helping vowels and the na ending for 3FP, 2FP, that can happen. Or if I add a pronominal suffix, like let's say I take yasim, he will set, and I want to say something like he will set you on a throne. Okay, I want to add the pronominal suffix ka. That's going to now take the stress, and yasimcha is going to become yasimcha, because I can't have an open proprotonic syllable here that retains its long vowel. If it's a changeable vowel, those always reduce to vocal schwa. All right. Now for the cal imperative, we've talked about how you chop off the prefix head to get your forms. There's one form that we didn't look at, and it's because it's exceptional. Remember, the cal imperfect 2FP is tukumena for kum, tukumena, where I have that helping vowel here. But when I form the cal imperative 2FP, I'm not going to use the helping vowel. I'm going to chop off the prefix, and I'm going to lose the helping vowel on top of that. So it becomes komna, komna, rather than kumena, just komna. So if I'm telling a group of women to get up, it's komna, women arise. Seem becomes tusimena for the cal imperfect, you women will put, but samena for the cal imperative 2FP, samena. In other words, I'm not only chopping off the prefix, but I'm also losing the helping vowel for this particular form. So this is a situation, and it only occurs with 2FP. This is a situation where you're not just chopping off the head to get the imperative. There's one other modification. And I should go ahead and just mention one other thing about the imperative here. So kum is the cal imperative 2ms, right? If I want to tell a man to rise, it would be kum. Remember, there is an alternate 2ms imperative. There's an alternate 2ms imperative form, and it looks like this. Kum ma. Remember, we can find an alternate imperative form in the 2ms with a kamate ending, and that's it. So it's kuma, kuma. Seem would be sima if I were talking to a man, single man. Okay, so seem or sima, kum or kuma. That alternate form has the kamate ending. Okay, now for the cal participle, we're going to go back to the chart here in a moment, but I'll go ahead and mention this. Notice that the participle masculine singular for hollow verbs is identical to the perfect 3ms form. So let's go look up here. We have, for the cal participle masculine singular of kum, is kam, kof mem with the long A. That is identical to kam up here, the cal perfect 3ms. The cal perfect 3fs is kama, where we're stressing the kof, the root 1. What about the participle? Kam becomes kama. So you'll notice here that the accent is different. Undistinguishable when there's no inflection, but definitely you can tell the difference based on accent here. It's not kama like the cal perfect 3fs, but kama, kama, accent that final syllable. Kamim, masculine plural. Feminine plural, I didn't put it here, would be kamot. Okay? So those are your participle forms. Ba, ba'a, instead of ba'a, ba'im, and sam, sama, samim, mate, metha, methim, and bosh, bosha, boshim. Okay? So those are your participial forms. Let's just take a look at our comments here, because I do give you just a little bit of help here with distinguishing the participle from the perfect. Look at ha'ish kam. Ha'ish kam. This form could be the cal perfect 3ms or the cal participle ms, but in this particular sentence, it is the perfect 3ms form. Okay, so this is the man arose. Okay, the man arose. Now down here, I have ha'ish hakam. Ha'ish hakam. Ha ha. Noun followed by participle. This participle is an attributive participle. Remember, attributive adjectives and participles follow the noun and agree with it in gender, number, and definiteness. So the ha-ha rule is being followed, and gender, number are being followed as well. So this is the participle ms, and notice In form, they don't look any different, but the article is here. You can't put an article in a perfect form like this. So this is another hint that this is a participle. So this is something like the man who is or was arising. Okay, that is an attributive participle. Now, if we look over here, we have ha-isha, comma. Ha-isha, comma. Notice the accent is on root 1. This has to be the cow perfect 3FS. Okay, and so this is the woman, and just a simple verb, arose. The woman arose. Below it, I have ha-isha, hakama. Not hakama, but hakama. Ha-isha, hakama. Clearly, this is a participle, feminine singular form, with the article attached. So this is attributive. It follows the noun, agrees in gender, number, and definiteness. This is something like the woman who is or was arising. Okay? So you can tell the difference by the accent between the feminine form of the participle compared to its perfect. You can't really tell the difference for the masculine singular form. Okay? You have to pay attention to your context there. All right. The cal infinitive construct is identical to the uninflected imperative form. That's good to know, right? So if we look back at our chart here, our cal infinitive construct looks just like the cal imperative to ms, the uninflected form, the no ending form. Cum, cum. Bo, bo. Seem, seem. So the act of arising, or to arise, the act of entering, or to enter, the act of putting, or to put, muth, right? It's the same as muth over here, imperative, die, or the act of dying. Bosh is the command, be ashamed, and this is to be ashamed. Now, that's great, fine and dandy. One little comment, though, to make about the infinitive construct of these hollow verbs in the cal, and that is that when you add pronominal suffixes to the hollow verb, the stress, of course, is going to move down to the pronominal suffix. We already know that. But both to vav and to yod verbs are going to take the vowel shurik when we add those pronominal suffixes. So cum is the act of arising, and kumi, adding the pronominal suffix, is my act of arising. Okay, that's the 1CS pronoun right here. That's the suffix, by the way. That's not the perfect personal ending. So this is the infinitive construct plus the pronominal suffix. Now, the infinitive construct of this verb to put is seem with the Keurig yod. Okay? But when I want to say my act of putting, it becomes sumi, not simi. Okay? So that's the point here. There's just one little irregularity here. Sumi, not simi, my act of putting. Okay, and then the last row on our chart is the infinitive absolute. If you remember, the cal infinitive absolute of pakad is pa code. So it has the holem vav here. And guess what? The infinitive absolute of hollow verbs is basically going to take the vowel, the theme vowel, of the infinitive absolute of the strong verb. Okay, so comb, bo, som, moth, bosh. All of them have holem vavs, or remember, these could be spelled defectively, and then you could just have a holem there. Okay? Now, let's just make a comment here about the cal imperfect versus the jussive and the WCI or the vayiktal form. As we saw above, in the cal imperfect, the to vav or middle vav verb shows a U-class theme vowel, which is a shurik, yakum, while the to yod verb shows an I-class theme vowel. So the Keurig yod, yasim. When the jussive and the WCI or vayiktal is formed, each type retains its characteristic vowel class, but it's going to slide down the length scale that you learned in the historical vowel chart. We might need to remind ourselves of this, but If you remember, we have, we'll slide over here just a little bit. We have A, I, and U vowels, right? And the historically long A vowel was kametz he. The tone long one was kametz. Tone short, pathak. And then our compound shiva looked like that. Now remember, we also had the holam vav and the sere yod vowels for our historically long A-class vowels. I, the historically long, is kirik yod. Tone long, sere. The tone short, segol and kirik. And then the kataf segol for our compound shiva. And then for the U class, shurik is the historically long. Holam, tone long. We had kametz katuf and kibbutz for our tone short, and the katef kametz katuf here for the compound shiva. All right. So when I say vowel class, A, I, and U are the vowel classes. When I talk about sliding up and down the scale for length, we're sliding up and down within the vowel class. And so here's what I want you to notice. That for the two vav or middle vav verbs, we have yakum for kam, which is he arose. It's a middle vav verb. Yakum, that's the imperfect. The jussive is going to be yakom with a holam rather than a shurik. That is to say, we've gone from historically long to tone long to form the jussive. He will arise, let him arise. And then when we form the vayiktol, or the WCI form, vayakom. That is a kametz katuf. That is a tone short U-class vowel. Historically long U, tone short U. Okay? That is a long A. And all of these, we have the long A here. Yakum, yakom, vayakom. Okay? But do see what's going on here. I've got retraction of stress. That is to say, my stress is always trying to be on root 1, but it has slid over to the front forward. Okay? So it's not vayakom, but vayakom. And the reason that this becomes a kametz katuf is because it's closed, but because the stress shifted back a step, it retracted, it became unaccented. And so instead of a holam, I got to have a kametz katuf here. My middle yod verbs do the same thing. Imperfect, yasim, retains the historically long vowel, but, so he will set, but let him set, the jussive is yasame. I go from historically long I to sere, which is a tone long I. Vayasame, with the accent retracting, becomes vayasem. The tone long becomes a tone short, segol, in the I class vowel. Okay? So I just want you to see that that happens in our forms.